It's like, I really wish I was a cat.
Yeah. Yeah. What happens if can't mobilize, right? For example, say I was trapped in this room with you. I think we are technically trapped in this room. But the algorithms.
No, I love algorithms.
Yeah, good, yeah.
Welcome to the Zest Method channel. I'm Amelia, an ex-army doctor and founder of a preventative medicine coaching business called, you guessed it, the Zest Method. I have an insatiable curiosity about the subconscious mind and self-betterment, and so I'm hoping to, through this medium, share what I learn and hopefully help humans feel better, not perfect. So, what I like to ask all of my guests to begin with is, what is the very essence of that person? Big question, but if it helps, mine is...
Yeah, go
on. If I can remember it. Curious in spirit. No, that's not right. Curious being, nomadic in spirit, and a collector of stories.
Oh, that's lovely.
So obviously I've had plenty of time to think about that.
So that's off the cuff,
Yeah. So I appreciate this is maybe an unfair question, but who is Laura Elliot?
Wow. That's it's a big question, isn't it, for a Sunday? I think the thing is, right, we do always do, especially as medics, we often link our identity to our job, which is dangerous, isn't it? Because it's something that's not a kind of given. For me, it's something that's it changes a lot, right? And as I've got older, it's changed a lot less, which is good.
I definitely wasn't saying this when I was 5 years ago.
21.
Yeah. Collect
I'm curious.
stories.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully collect more stories as you get older. I guess let's do that. So let's do a trio of values.
We like.
Yeah, right. For me, I think kindness is always going to be one of the values. Not that you're not kind because you didn't put it in. But that's kind of, I guess, goes back towards kind of my yoga background, because it's like fundamental to yoga philosophy is just a ahimsa, which is Sanskrit for non-harming. So it's very much just like non-harming, and that goes towards like planet, self, others, and everything that you do.
That's beautiful.
They always give this great example that's, let's talk about your hair. If you said to me, Laura, does my hair look nice? I have to go for non-harming over truthfulness. Unless, of course, I think actually looks rubbish. This is going to look rubbish.
Yeah.
So
it looks unkempt.
Yeah, but if you paid like 150 quid for a haircut and I thought, my God, that looks awful.
Yeah.
I'm not going to kind of eschew all kindness just for honesty. So I would say, look, Amelia, yeah, it really suits you. Something slightly euphemistic.
Yes.
Get away with it. So kindness, that's probably something that I try to kind of center whatever I do around. How can I do this in the most kind of non-harming way to myself, to other people, to planet. Curiosity, I agree with you on that one.
Key.
Because I think it kind of covers everything, doesn't it? Kind of covers like self-development, self-betterment. You can do a lot of reading within curiosity, which I like, and learning. And I guess we wouldn't be medics if we didn't kind of enjoy that. And people are so interesting. And
they are.
There's a lot going on. So I think you have to be curious, right, to kind of be a doctor, because maybe it kills your curiosity, to be honest.
No, it did. At the end of medical school, I didn't want to pick up another book for several years.
There's a bit of that, isn't there? Yeah. Trying to stay curious, I think, is good. And also I think it helps, doesn't it, we talk about this a lot. I was talking about this yesterday in the yoga class that I teach on a Saturday, is trying to be curious about the body, how it feels, how do you feel? Because I think it kind of lends itself to taking a bit of a step back, because if you can be really curious about how you feel, it's almost like you can just approach it from like a really open-minded, questioning way, rather than like, oh my God, this hurts and this is rubbish and I look like this. And
that's me.
Is it?
Every yoga. I'm in so much pain right now. I can't focus on my breath.
Yeah, well, there you go. So sometimes it helps, doesn't it? Be curious about it. Try to just have a more explorative approach to it, and then it can take away some of that pressure.
Maybe that's where I'm going wrong.
Yeah, there you go. Paragraph 3. So I guess kindness, curiosity. At the moment, I'll tell you my word of the year.
I love it.
Is discipline.
Nice.
Yeah, which sounds a bit like you know. But I think
not at all.
It's often, sometimes I need that, because I think sometimes we're like, oh, I won't do that. Come on, that sounds too difficult. Or I'll just give myself a bit of a break. And actually, if you're feeling quite resourced, I think sometimes you do need a bit of structure, and you can say, no, I'm just going to do this for a bit and I'm going to be disciplined. And that's really helped me this year to kind of get stuff done, you know.
But I can't imagine you not being disciplined.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Because in order to be able to, I think the DNA of medics is we just get things done. You have to learn a lot. You have to sit down. You have to revise. You have to turn up to placement. So,
but the dark side of that is that we have these, like, we're such people pleasers.
Oh yeah.
And I think we do things because we want someone to be like, oh my God, well done. That was so good, Amelia. You did such a great job.
Yeah.
And if no one's telling you that, like, I just wouldn't do it. If that's it. If I learned that when I lived by myself, I was like, well, if no one's watching, why would I need to do anything?
Yeah.
You know? And so I think I just got a bit lazy, because there wasn't someone always to be like, oh my God, I'm so impressed that you're doing that. Oh, well done for doing, you know, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I think we kind of thrive off like positive feedback and, you know, helping other people and getting the reward of that. And actually, when it comes down to something you want to do and just being disciplined for yourself, suddenly it was like, why would I do any of that? So I had to really learn self-discipline when no one was watching, you know.
God, that's fast. That's a really good take on it, actually.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. So were you people pleasing when I asked you to come do this podcast? I really hope
purely
not.
Selfish. No,
Yeah.
yeah. No, but it helps to be like, I think sometimes we can be so, in trying not to be hard on ourselves. Sometimes I don't know if we also, I certainly do this. I think I try not to put myself under too much pressure, and it turns into a bit of a, oh no, I couldn't possibly do that. Oh no, I can't do that. I can't do that. You know, almost a kind of not good enough. Let yourself off the hook. No, have a break. You deserve it, you know. But maybe that was in the guise of kind of like a bit anxious, and I'm not going to do it because maybe I won't be able to. So now it's a bit of a kind of, no, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do 3 things in a day and it might be okay. Instead of being like, oh, just do one and then see how I feel. So there's a balance, right? Yeah.
See, I think I'm the opposite spectrum, where I am so disciplined.
Okay.
That is what I'm known for. That I really find it difficult to trust myself to know that I won't, if I relax a bit, that I won't fall off the bandwagon, because I'm really worried I will.
Okay, interesting.
Because idleness terrifies me.
Yeah.
And I'm always worried that if I just give myself an inch, I'll then take a mile.
Okay.
And so then I just never relax.
Like all or nothing.
It is. It's definitely that all or nothing.
Is that, do you think it's a military thing?
I had never thought of it like that.
Surely that's like, when you say discipline, I think military.
Yeah, maybe.
Make your bed, fold your clothes.
Actually, in fairness, it takes a certain type of individual to sign up to the military.
Yeah,
But maybe it's just a deep in that, insofar as maybe the military was fitting for me because was so disciplined, but the discipline must have stemmed from something deeper. So maybe just, perfectionism, or just want to do everything right, or idleness, it will equal failure. You don't want to be I didn't know where it stemmed from. It's something that I definitely or I do therapy about. But yeah, I'm the opposite of you in that sense, that discipline I probably need just to give myself a break.
Yeah. And what's funny is when you say, like, who is Laura? I think definitely I think you're right. People be surprised to hear that my word of the year is discipline. But I think what happened was, it was very much like childhood and that kind of overachieving perfectionist type medic personality. You know, and you go through that, and you go through school and you do everything, and you are a kind of like, you do kind of put yourself under so much pressure. And then I think I almost came a bit full circle. Like I said, it was like, take the pressure off. And I think I went too far the other way. So now I'm trying to come back, but with a bit of, hindsight and a bit of balance. You're right, because I think we do have in order to achieve a lot, you have to be quite disciplined.
This the thing is,
but I think maybe there was a rebellion at some point in my 20s.
Yeah, that maybe I should be a bit more rebellious with myself, because I do find that I think discipline led to achievement to external validation, a pat on the back, and so it's almost a sort of vicious cycle where you just want more and more of that.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to go away and think long and hard about that. Just out of curiosity, what was your word of the year last year?
That was creativity. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad I remembered that. That was because it was very much like I was doing a lot of writing, and I really just kind of wanted to have, just to, I guess, bring in more creativity into life and in what I was doing. And I think it was a way to kind of encourage me to write more. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think with medics, we are so left hemisphere dominant. It's also logic, and the creativity is completely quashed. And I find that actually when I do speak to so many doctors or people in lawyers, etc., we actually all really have a very, very
So
creative
much, right?
side.
Yeah.
And it's never really explored, and they never allow themselves to have hobbies. We don't have time.
I remember at med school there was this this one off, and you know, in the like 5 or 6 years we were there, it was like one chance to like write a kind of essay that was creative. And I remember in the like 200 of us in the lecture theatre, they said, put your hand up if you did English at A-level. There was 2 of us, and we were so excited to write this essay. And what's really ironic, I think I did really badly in it. I think because I just went way off. I think I just, you know, they gave me an inch, I took a mile, and I just kind of went off on one. They were like, this is nothing to do with what we wanted to talk about. But it is rare, right? It's rare to have that because it's much more like sciencey.
Yes, exactly.
But I think when you, in order to kind of, you know, get through a job and sustain a job and find longevity in a career, it really helps to have those like creative pursuits. And in my orchestra at the moment, half of our section.
You play an instrument?
Yeah, I play the cello.
Do you? No, actually, I did. I did know that. I completely forgot it.
Yeah.
Cello.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know. I didn't bring it today.
Shame.
Yeah.
I'll have to hear the piece.
Next time. Yeah, there's the half of our cello section in the orchestra is medics. So out of the 8 of us, 4 are doctors, which is really interesting. And I'm sure they're scattered everywhere. Again, I always just think that goes back to overachieving as children. You know.
We can't dabble in one area, you have to dabble in them all.
Got to do them all, yeah, grade 8, you know,
yeah,
just get it done. Yeah, but it definitely helps when you have those like creative things, doesn't it, outside?
Yeah, musical, I'm just not, music and being musical is definitely not
Oh,
mine.
really? Okay.
Yeah, at boarding school, we were forced to learn an instrument. Okay. I think that already was then a bad setup.
Really?
Yeah, so I had to learn piano. And because if you do anything under forced circumstances, you're not going to enjoy it. No. And I didn't like my teacher. And so it was a 5 years of hell.
Wow.
And so I can't play you a single piece. I can only find...
No?
But I can find you the letter C.
Okay, cool.
Which most people could anyway who haven't learned the piano.
Yeah, maybe.
So really not that
impressive. Don't take that away from
me. Yeah. Just being kind.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've digressed, which I loved. So my next question is, what is your clarity statement of...
Oh, God.
Yeah, so this is the sort of far more structured about what you do, what you're about. So your clarity statement, please.
Oh, gosh. Okay. This also changes a lot, right? As I'm sure it does for all of us. I mean, at the moment, I'm on a mission to get people to understand more about the nervous system and the vagus nerve and polyvagal theory, and to help people see that learning those things will help them in every aspect of life and health and illness. So it's more of a mission statement, I suppose, if I can sidestep that.
Yeah, perfect. To that point then, as soon as I heard polyvagal theory, I got so excited. I was
really?
Like, yeah, because my sort of curiosity value was like pinging and firing. I was like, oh God, I want to learn all about this, hence why you're here today.
Nice.
So you're going to have to treat me like an idiot. That I really actually don't know. Obviously I know the vagus nerve, but some people won't even know that.
Yeah.
So I have no idea who's listening, watching, if anyone.
Your mum.
Yeah. Yeah, mum will be watching, that's for sure. And so I would just like you to walk me through what polyvagal theory is and how you even came across it. Because despite the fact that I like to think I'm fairly well read and I'm very curious and like to study lots of different things in my own time, because I am that nerd, I have never, ever come across this. Yes.
It's crazy that, isn't it? And I guess that's partly what drives my mission statement.
Yes, exactly.
So why don't I'll tell you how I came across it. I think this is slightly controversial, but I don't think that most medical training teaches us to be good GPs. I think hospital medicine, great. But when I was doing my GP training and then when I became a GP, I thought there was so much stuff that I was like, well, I've never come across this. I was never taught this at medical school. And one of the main things is stress, right? We're always told like stress is the epidemic of the 21st century. Everyone comes to us with something that's related to do with stress or something that's happening in their life. But we weren't really given the tools, I don't think, to deal with that. It was like lifestyle measures, tick. Okay, move on to, okay, what drugs can we use for this condition?
I got one slide on nutrition.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And that is so often quoted, isn't it? That people hate that. Doctors don't know anything about nutrition. I think we know what we teach ourselves, right? And what we learn and what we listen to, podcasts or read. But yeah, I mean, there's so much to cover, right? In terms of the human body that I guess it would be a lot to cover those things as well. We learned about the nervous system, right? Basically, we learned the structure of it. We learned that the vagus nerve was one of the cranial nerves. So when I was doing this, learning to be a GP and being a GP, I found that I was being faced all the time with people's problems I had no idea what to do with. And that, I think, really challenges us as doctors, right? We've talked a lot about our type A personalities. Yeah. We love to be told, great job, and to like tick a box and tick something off. And there was just no room for that. When you're facing people who've got 6 problems, and you're like, whoa, that's a lot. But they're all linked, right? Oh, I've got my hair's thinning and I've got these gut issues. I think I've got some food intolerance. Sometimes I get palpitations. I'm kind of prone to anxiety, or I've been through burnout. All these things that if you look in a book will all be in, say, different chapters or whatever. But actually for me, now I see they're all related to the same thing. They relate to the nervous system that is mediated by the vagus nerve. But at the time I was thinking, well, okay, maybe this is all stress. Then I guess it was the algorithm. I know you hate algorithms, but the algorithm.
No, I love algorithms.
Yeah, good, yeah.
Boost this podcast, please. Whoever's listening.
The algorithms on my phone was listening to me, and I think I got advertised to go to this mental health, trauma conference. It was all about kind of stress and mental health in the 21st century. And one of the speakers across this 3-day conference was Dr. Stephen Porges, who is the creator of Polyvagal Theory. And I sat in one of the lectures and I remember being like, what is this? Writing down, Polly, what? What did you say? And a lot of it was focused about trauma and stress. And then he was talking about this, and I honestly was like, this is insane, because this puts all of those different symptoms that people come with and all the stress, puts it into perspective. It makes complete sense when we understand it. It's quite a difficult concept, I think, to understand. And if you haven't read his textbook, which I have labored my way through, he's a neuroscientist, right? And he's a researcher. So it is so dense.
Oh, that's hardcore reading.
Yeah, and he loves
it's not bedtime.
No, it's not bedtime reading, but he loves big compound sentences. It takes you 5 minutes to read a whole sentence and be like, what was he saying? Yeah. But he's got a lovely way of writing. And also he's a musician. So he plays the clarinet.
So no wonder you can get through that book. I'll be screwed. I'm like, is that me?
Yeah, he does it. He does mention, a bit of music stuff. He also loves cats. He talks about cats.
I like cats.
Do you? Okay.
I love cats.
He talks about how cats are masters of regulation, which is a feature of a healthy nervous system.
Huh.
The way a cat can, they're very sassy, right? Because they kind of know what they want and they know what they like, and they aren't afraid to set their boundaries. They're really good at that. But the way a cat will come in and it might sit next to you, but if you come too close, it's like, leave me alone, and walks off. So they have this amazing ability to regulate themselves. When they want a bit of comfort, they'll come towards you. Yeah. When they don't want it, they'll move away. So they just have this amazing way of moving through the world that is very for their own regulation. So he says, cats are masters of regulation.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I've got a dog. Dogs are highly dysregulated, really, I think, because they are so needy, very anxious, really kind of codependent. So I'm not sure they,
And I think it's maybe why I like cats, because they are so independent.
Yeah, I used to love them too. Yeah. I kind of like them too, but since I ended up with a dog, not my choice, I don't get cats at all anymore, and I'm a massive dog fan. So I know it's a strange thing, but I used to love how independent they are. But anyway, so anyway, I was sitting in this lecture, and I remember feeling what I now would call really dysregulated. I was so anxious. I was almost I was a bit shaky because I was listening to this thing and I was almost like looking around me being like, why is no one else like kind of, it was like a bit of a kind of light bulb moment.
Wow.
And I felt like, my God, this could change everything. Why do no doctors know about this?
Yeah.
I was almost seething, I think, actually. I was sitting in this and I was like, what is going on? Like, why have I never heard of this thing before? And why does nobody know about it? So basically, if I kind of break down what polyvagal theory is, right? So it's about the nervous system and it's about the vagus nerve.
Before you do, I'm going to rudely interrupt and say, and you know, when you have patients come in with 10 elements they all talk about and you only have 10 minutes, you're like, in 10 minutes, only enough time to get their date of birth and get them to sit down. And I find that the problem with the medical system is everything is siloed. And everything is put into a nice, neat little bucket.
Yes.
And sometimes I'm sure, this is why I'm not a GP, I couldn't do it, because then you were taught to put things in nice little buckets, and then they just don't, these patients who are really complex with their comorbidities, they don't fit into any bucket. And if you've got a heart problem, you go see a cardiologist. You've got back pain, you go and see an orthopedic consultant. But no one is looking over this with the overarching picture.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I am that the stress person who's like, it's all to do with mental health.
Yeah.
Which is almost separated as its own entity in itself, and no one takes psychiatry seriously. But maybe I should be seeing the nervous system even above that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And bring it all together.
I agree with you. Like, I often think this will be the next big specialty. But then you're right, it's more of an umbrella thing, because give me like one health condition that isn't affected by stress. You know, nothing. There is nothing that isn't affected by stress, right? And so there's this massive interplay of all these things that we don't really appreciate. And I think there's a lot of like frustration coming through. Think about the waiting list at the moment for, say, to see a gastroenterologist for like gut health problems is huge. They have such a backlog. And I think a lot of that is people with what we'd call like functional symptoms, which I think of as function of the nervous system, that people don't really know how to treat, but they've got pathology, they've got symptoms, but it doesn't really fit into a box. And then these people are kind of just left, and then they kind of get bounced between specialties. And you're right, it's kind of the like overarching umbrella specialty, really. It's actually understanding the impact. And I think people do start to talk about it, right? Oh, you know, you might get a cardiologist who says stress makes your heart symptoms worse, or your gut symptoms will always be worse when you're stressed, or a dermatologist that tells you, you know, stress will set your eczema off, you know. So there's a feeling of it. But I think what has been missing is like providing people with that link of understanding, well, why? Like, why does stress do that? And also, okay, I'm stressed, but what about like when stress gets too much, and then you get things like burnout, and you get depression, and you get fatigue and chronic pain and chronic fatigue and all those other things. And that is what is really explained by the polyvagal theory.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
And that's not even being facetious. I'm like genuinely so excited.
Yeah, was it sarcastic? Okay.
No. I'm all for it. I'm all ears.
Okay. But it is good because it is a complex thing, and I think, you know, in medicine we always forget what we didn't used to know, and so we talk about things without realizing that you're right. Maybe people don't really understand what the nervous system is or the vagus nerve, and so please, do just kind of, if something you're just like, Laura, that makes no sense, just say, because I've obviously read a lot about it, so I'm coming from this place of trying to remember what I didn't used to know about the nervous system.
Yeah, treat me as a layperson,
okay,
as best you can.
Okay. Polyvagal theory is a scientific theory about the vagus nerve. So best to understand it as like split into 3 parts. So almost imagining like 3 kind of columns or 3 pillars. The first is something that they call the autonomic ladder or autonomic hierarchy. So actually just picturing like a ladder. At the top of the ladder is the nervous system state that we all want to be in all of the time. That's where you feel great, right? That's the times when you're like, you feel pretty calm. You feel quite connected with people. You know those days when you wake up, you're like, God, I feel great today.
Yes.
And you're like, I'm going to go out and I feel so inspired. I've got all these ideas and I feel like really energized. I'm like, I'm ready for a relationship, or I'm going to eat really well today. Like you on a good day. That's like top of the ladder, right?
Okay.
And when we learn how to keep ourselves regulated, that's where we want to be spending most of the time.
Does that have a term, top of this ladder?
Yeah, it's called ventral vagal.
Yes, I have heard of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so vagal. So basically, that kind of part of the vagus nerve. It's all mediated by the vagus nerve. So that's when you've got great, like what's often called vagal tone. Like think about muscle tone. So a muscle working really well, being really flexible, being really strong. That's your ability to stay in that state as much as possible. Okay. You're really toned. You're going to be at the top. When we detect threat, and that can be anything, right? It doesn't need to be. The classic is the saber-toothed tiger, but I can't remember when I last saw one of those.
An email from a patient or something.
Yeah,
feedback,
exactly.
Complaint.
A complaint, yeah. An alarm, like traffic, pollution, anything really. Even, physical pain is a kind of stressor for the body. When we detect like that threat or stress or strain, whatever you kind of want to call it, you move down the ladder, and that's sympathetic. So that's your sympathetic nervous system. That's
where I live. That's where
you live. Okay,
I live.
That's kind of your happy place, but it's fake news. Yeah. That is like the classic fight flight, that a lot of people do know about. That's like your adrenaline, your cortisol. That's what's called kind of the state of mobilization. That's, okay, I've seen a threat. I've got this thing coming towards me. How do I mobilize myself away from danger? And that's why we kind of get this kind of surge of adrenaline. We feel a bit shaky. And that's when you can do your best, like sprinting. That's when you go for a run, right? Because you'll run so fast. I did my best running at med school. I was always so stressed. Honestly, I was so fast. I used to just go out for like a half marathon, like at the weekend. I don't know what I was doing. I'd love to be able to do that now, but I'm not stressed enough.
Jesus, okay, that was not me.
Yeah,
it was vodka or something, going out to Tiger.
Yeah, that also night before. Sympathetic. So we're in this fight and flight. Now the ideal is we feel mobilized, we like that, we go for a run, we burn it off, we come back up the ladder to safety. The threat disappears, the tiger hides behind the tree, you deal with the email, the alarm clock stops, fine, okay, dissipated, go back up the ladder. What happens if you can't mobilize, right? So this is, for example, say I was trapped in this room with you. I'm trapped. I think we are technically trapped in this room. If there was a massive bear,
we're both firing.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. If there was a tiger in the corner and I can't escape, right? What happens then? What happens when we can't mobilize away from the threat? If we put it into day-to-day terms, this is like a job that you obviously can't leave because you probably need the money or whatever. This is like a really horrible, unsupportive work environment. Something that's really toxic, exactly. And something that is a threat, but you really can't do much about it. You can't just kind of run away, You can probably find little moments to regulate within that, but ultimately that threat is still very present. And so when that happens, what choice do we have in this kind of locked room, whether that's metaphorical or real? We have to play dead. So we drop down the ladder, and that's something called dorsal vagal. That's the kind of bottom of the ladder. That's where that is literally, I hate spiders, I don't know about you. But when I think of dorsal vagal, I literally think of the spider that if you poked it, it curls up
yes.
and it plays dead. That is an animal playing dead. This is where depression and fatigue is, because actually what you're doing is creating the most kind of self-preserving mode for yourself that you can. So in the example of burnout, really you're having a good day, then you've entered this really stressful job, you can't escape, you can't find a way out, you drop down further to the bottom of the ladder. In terms of burnout, this is right, I've realized I can't mobilize. What can I do? I'm in this complete state of self-preservation. I feel really fatigued because I've used up so much energy in this heightened state, and all my adrenaline is just, I've become numb to it. Now I'm in this state where everything hurts, right? My body's saying, don't do anything, don't move. It's not safe to move. I'm going to make everything hurt. I'm going to make everything feel exhausting because we just need to stay completely still and trapped. And that's where the world isn't safe, right? I can't go out the door. I can't move. The world looks like the least safe place possible. And
Especially nowadays.
Especially nowadays. Exactly. There's so many like very valid, like terrifying things. So yeah, that's where a lot of people tend to find themselves at the bottom of the ladder. So when you kind of understand that ladder, it helps, I think, because if you get little glimmers maybe of fatigue or low mood, you can think, okay, I'm here. How can I get back out and get myself like back to the top, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
And is it if someone has a bit, so would a cat be able to go up and down this ladder pretty easily?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
so
I don't even think cats bother with the low rungs, to be honest. I think they can't be bothered.
I've never seen a cat play dead.
Right?
It's bolted.
They're just like...
Or they're just sleeping, loving life.
Yeah, they're like, leave me alone, mate.
Waiting till the next meal.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember actually bizarrely once when I was really little, I think, I hate how schools make you do exams when you're so young. So I remember being 12, I was like, oh my God, I was very, very anxious 12-year-old and always a real worrier. My first sentence, at the beginning of my sentence would always begin with, I'm worried about. And I remember one time it was coming to my sort of Christmas exams and I was so stressed, been revising all the time. And then I just saw my cat just lying there, just chilling. And they would get fed and they go back to bed. And I remember actually being envious.
Really?
It's like, I really wish I was a cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that's why my spirit animal's a lion.
Oh, really nice. Okay, cool. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. Cat energy. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like sometimes I think it really helps to use visualization to really help you to come out of a state, right? We do that a lot in yoga. Like if I felt like a lion, what would I do? How would I act? Like how would I move? Like you'd probably hold yourself differently, right? You'd like be kind of strong and proud and tall and then you move through the world with confidence. And I think sometimes that helps, doesn't it? To like embody something that's separate from yourself to...
Yeah, I'm faking it all the time. Just fake it till you make it until you believe it. I'm like, yeah, I am confident. Yeah. Top of the pecking order.
It's like those memes of those like little fish or something. And then they've got like a fin hat on. So on the surface, it looks like you're this all powerful shark and underneath you're just this little kind of Dory character underneath. Yeah.
So that's the first pillar. That makes total sense.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, good.
I'm with you.
Good. And also then you can start to see, right, we'll move on to the other pillars, but you can see how symptoms fit into those categories, right? I can. And it makes sense that then you're not putting it in terms of like, this is cardiological and this is neurological. And actually, if you put them in those categories, it just, you're like, oh, I get it now, right? Yeah. I get why those patients are coming with the same cluster of symptoms because it's all within that thing or that thing. In this room, for example, what are we noticing?
Freezing cold.
Right. The third pillar is co-regulation.
Importance of why you have to find the right therapist because the amount of times, myself included, equally patients, they've had really bad experience that counselling doesn't work, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Up here, with the ventral vagal.
Looking down on the rest.
Because I'm always chilling in the middle bit of the ladder, the sympathetic drive is on.